Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with my Christmas jumper on for our opposition preview. And joining me in the away end today to preview Nottingham Forest against Aston Villa is the main man from Forest Fan TV, Wolfie. Wolfie, how are you doing, mate?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's good to see us Midlands clubs flying at the moment. So yeah, it's a shame one of us is going to be disappointed on Saturday. I don't know who it will be.
Exactly. It is a tasty game. It always is a good game, but
Mhm.
this one seems to have just a little bit more on it. So we're going to get right into it. Before we start off, please do hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. We're marching on to 5,000 subscribers. If we could do it before the new year, that would be amazing. So please like, subscribe, get your comments in as well, your thoughts on the game on Saturday. So before we kind of get into this match on Saturday, this big match, I think it's 5th versus 6th as it stands at the minute.
Yeah.
Talk to us about Nottingham Forest season so far, and has it? I know we've been on a few shows together, but for people maybe who haven't seen us on the various shows together, what have you made to Forest start this season? Has it been a surprise for you?
For me personally, not too much so, but I'm always deluded at the start of the season, and I think we got the best team, the best club, and what have you. And then a ball is kicked, and you remember the team you support and the scars you have. But this season, it did feel different, mainly from the preseason. It's the first time for a few years where I'd seen Forest have a really good preseason. But then everyone was telling me, "Oh, preseasons mean nothing." And they're right. I've seen preseasons where we've won nothing and been all right and won everything and been rubbish. But it just felt organized. It felt like Nuno had a chance to get his squad together, trim the fat, and get the players down to the team he wanted. And it started all right. It could have started better, drawing with Bournemouth late on when we were winning for most of that match. And then the games against Liverpool, where we went away and won, that was the game where everyone was like, well, hold on a minute. What's going on here? Something's happening. And since then, we've had the mainstream media going, "Our Forest are out of position. They'll drop like a log and what have you." And it just hasn't quite happened yet. And mate, I'm ecstatic. I'm like really happy. At the same time, the cynic in me is like, we could have had more points, in a positive way. How many points have we, not? We've been in winning position so many times and blown it a few times, and it's like we could have been even better. But yeah, if you offered me this where we are now at the start of the season, I'd bite your hand off twice, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, I don't know what your feelings were on Cooper and what he brought to the club, but Nuno came in and had a really good spell at Wolves, had a tough time at Tottenham. But what have you made to kind of Nuno and what he's brought to Forest, and what is it that he's kind of changed from the Steve Cooper days?
For me, I was Cooper out. Like that season, I think that win against you last season was his only win in 13. We went it was a horrible run and his time was done. And then Nuno came in and I was at the stage where just bring me anyone in. We needed change. So, he started well. We beat Newcastle, we beat Man United under him. And then it kind of dropped off when we got those PSR charges. It just seemed like there was a cloud over the club. We had famous tweet with the whole VAR stuff going on. It was just always seemed every week there was something going on. And I think there was a few fans that were looking at Nuno thinking, not much has changed. We're still fighting just above the relegation zone. We've had points deducted. What's there to change? We were conceding goals, bro, from corners and dead balls. Like, it was going out of fashion. And for me, what I like about Nuno is when it came to the preseason, I almost feel like he sat down with a checklist and was like, right, we're crap at corners. I need to address that. Defensively, we've been poor. Need to address that. We need some balance out wide. Need to address that. And just ticked them off one at a time. So that when we came into the new season, I think for the first 6 or 7 games, we'd faced like 44 or 45 corners and dead balls and conceded 0. And the main thing he did, mate, was bring Milenkovic in. He was like, right, let me just bring in a tall, chiseled up Serb who's just going to bolster this defense. And he's been sensational for us. And that's what's changed for me is the pragmatic nature of Nuno. It's not the most exciting football, but it's not Cooper style low block, and then just cross your fingers and hope that someone's going to score on a counter attack. There's a philosophy behind it where he likes a mid block and he likes a quick transition, likes to use the width, bring it into the big man Chris Wood and get the goals that way. And he loves clean sheets. It's like loads of his interviews. It's like first protocol, clean sheet, build off a clean sheet. And I think that philosophy has just started to show because he had the preseason. So I think he's made a lot of huge changes. And I think most of the Forest fan base are on his side now, especially after the Liverpool win. So yeah, we're going in a good direction. But I've seen Forest for more years than I remember, mate. And you just feel there's something around the corner at any given time. You just can't let go of that feeling. I'm sure you guys have had it in previous regimes and whatnot. We've had, and it's like I still need another month or two where I can then look at the table and go, you know what, that Forestiness is out of us, and Forest aren't going to do Forest things, and I'll start to relax a little. But right now, I'm on edge every game, mate.
Yeah, no, you're right in what you're saying about kind of that Aston Villa cynicism as well that Unai Emery seems to have solved. Aston Villa can go into games now like, well, this is who we are. Like, not to borrow from Ange Postecoglou, but this is a team that we are, and we are a good side, and we can, win games and win numerous games on the trot. Maybe we're starting to creep back in, a week or so ago when we've been on this bad run, but that seems to have gone now or vanished now a bit with 3 wins in a row. Obviously beating Leipzig away from home in the Champions League, getting a much needed victory against Brentford, and then, a bit of a scrappy win against Southampton. But this game coming up on Saturday, for me, is a real test of where Aston Villa are. And you'll probably say yourself about where Nottingham Forest are. As we say, 5th versus 6th in the Premier League. Villa have won, 3 or 4 away games this season, I think, in the Premier League. But the defeats against Tottenham, Liverpool, and Chelsea kind of really hurt. And dare I say it, we haven't beaten one of the big boys this season. And I now see, with Forest being in that top 6, a game where we need to kind of show that we can beat one of the big boys, so to speak. So what are you thinking ahead of this game on Saturday?
It's like, I feel like Luke Skywalker, but not Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, the conflict is within me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, if I try and look at it objectively, I'm like, okay, Villa have got this beautiful style of play. I really enjoy watching Villa play. Emery likes you guys to control the game, have possession, and what have you. And I look at it and think that's the ideal setup that Nuno likes to face, because he likes teams to come onto us to create some space and some gaps in behind their defensive line, utilize the pace we have. And then I look back to the game we had last year at the City Ground where, like, I think 22 players, including the goalkeeper, were playing in our half, and there was just so much space in there. And I think Emery learned from that, and he hasn't continued with that single mindset that you see with, as you were mentioning, Postecoglou. I think he's dropped your defensive line a little and made it more kind of organized and, a better shape to it. So, but I still think there is space there. So when I look at it pragmatically, I think we do have the tools to hurt you. But at the same time, I saw your midweek game. I've seen a few of your recent games. Okay, you weren't amazing against Southampton, but you're getting results again. You had that ropey patch where you disappeared for a couple of weeks. Man, we didn't hear from you for a while.
I know, man. I know.
But I still look at it like if I'm looking at it through Villa eyes, I'm thinking, okay, we've had a ropey patch. Every team has at least one ropey patch in the season. You've come out of it from the other side, and you found yourself back in the the hunt for the Champions League spots, up in sixth level of us on points. So I would almost, as a Villa fan, look at it as a positive. You've had
Mm.
your 3 wins in a row, if you're including the Champions League game and what have you. And I just feel you're coming in with a little bit of momentum. And that's the thing that worries me a little. Anytime we've played a team directly in and around us, either one up or one below us, we've struggled this season. And that's where we've taken a couple of our L's. So I'm not delusional, and nor am I not respecting Villa and what they're doing, because I like what you're doing. I mean, we've talked about it so many times. Screw the
Yeah,
cartel
yeah,
six.
yeah,
Let the
exactly.
Midlands flag fly again. And I'm loving
Yeah,
what I'm seeing. And it's almost like, can't we each get 3 points on this game just to annoy the big six? You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm looking at the game thinking we can win it, but I can see us losing it. And maybe it could be a draw. Do you know what I mean? I can see any possible outcome in this. And this one's probably, mate, one of the hardest ones. Like when I like to analyze and look forward to, I can't get a good read on how I feel
Mm,
it will go. And being
yeah.
sitting on the fence a bit, but yeah.
No, no, I get you. I get you. And talking about kind of into the players side of it,
Mm,
Villa have been able to kind of rotate their squad, and
yeah.
I was getting quite annoyed with the rotation when we were going through this dodgy spell
Yeah.
of maybe players not getting a rhythm, maybe some players coming in and being off form, but that going through that and Emery being consistent with that, it's kind of starting to pay a bit more. The fruits are starting to pay off with
Yeah.
that because Mings came in against Brentford and was brilliant, and then he changes it up for Southampton. They keep a clean sheet, and then he brings Matty Cash in because Leon Bailey's injured and Philogene out of form. He brings him further forward, and then he makes 4 or 5 changes. Swaps Watkins at half time for John Duran, and John Duran scores an absolute worldie again.
Worldy. Yeah.
So, from that perspective, Villa's squad seems to be starting to take effect again and make and affect games again. So, who are you in out of the Villa side? I know again you've talked a lot about praising Villa and what they're doing, but who is concerning you? Who do you think you guys really need to watch out for from
Well,
a
where we
Forest perspective?
struggle for me, mate, is the midfield. I still feel we're very weak in that midfield. At the moment, we've got so many injuries there. Sangare's been
Right.
out since the start of the season, and Danilo snapped his ankle on the first game of the season, as well against Bournemouth. They were our 2 kind of starting 6 and 8. And since then, we've had some good patches in that midfield, seeing like Ryan Yates had a decent purple patch. I'm not his biggest fan, but he was
Yeah.
doing all right, as was Dominguez, and Elliot Anderson's been really good. I worry about that midfield battle, especially as we talked about the other day with Kamara coming back in. I think he's one of your best buys because he cost you
He's probably
absolutely
our best.
nothing.
He
Yeah.
in my opinion, is the best player in our squad.
Yeah, and that's the position that I look at him in envy, because that's what we're missing currently. Someone who can control that midfield for us. We just don't possess the ball very well, even when we have it in good portions of spells in the game. So I look at him, and I think he's, like you just said, I think he's a big key to your game. Obviously, he's always had his injury issues, but when he's fit, and unfortunately for Forest, it looks like he's fit for this one, he worries me. I like Rodgers. I think he's been a bit in and out of form
Mm. Hmm.
recently. And I think Dinia as well has really
He's
stepped
been
up.
so consistent. I mean, keeping Ian Matson out the side and
Who is a
when
quality player, by the way. Yeah.
exactly, and we've even talked about maybe pushing Ian Matson further up the pitch
Mm.
because he can't be. He's just not as consistent. Luca Dean's got himself in the France squad and assisting and assisting goals in the French team now, and he would have so many more assists if our strikers could finish chances at the minute. So, yeah,
Because
he's
I was
been brilliant.
surprised when you let Moreno go,
Yeah,
thinking,
yeah, because
well,
he's been
that
great for
sounds like
you as
they're
well,
going to
hasn't he?
promote Matson in,
Yeah.
because I thought Dinia would have been third in that pecking order. But
Mm,
he's stepped up, and I think he's done really well for you. So
mm,
he's a player that I've been impressed with. Obviously,
Yeah.
Matty Cash is our boy, and like I really hope he doesn't score on
He's
Saturday.
100%, man. I'm telling you, Matty Cash. I mean, he does split opinion with Villa fans, but you
Yeah,
can't. One thing you can't
where are you
criticize
on him, mate?
is
Where are you on him?
I think I think ultimately there will be a time where we'd have to upgrade on that position. But I think
Mm,
when the fact that we've had such a dodgy spell when he's been predominantly injured or trying to get his way back to fitness, and then he's come back in the side, in the last 2 or 3 games, certainly played a part in at least 2 of those games. He's been brilliant. He scored against Brentford, had a
mm.
really good game against Leipzig,
He's
and
playing old school. He's playing in midfield. You
exactly,
guys,
and
wasn't
and
he? Yeah.
he gives us an energy, he gives us a bit, more drive, more effort. He definitely he's definitely better because Kamara's back in the side, and
Yeah.
Kamara gives him more security to maybe concentrate on what his actual job is rather than trying to cover and focus on other things.
It makes a
Because he's
huge
very
difference, mate. It really
it's
does.
such a
This is why I
difference.
keep telling our lot, like, we're missing that controller in midfield. I was hoping Sangare was going to be that guy, but he's always injured. And you've got it in Kamara. And I think people don't recognize the work those type of players
Mm,
do and how
mm,
they improve the rest of the players that are around
yeah,
him.
but
And
yeah, but Matty Cash, we miss him when he's not there, and we've certainly, I think Aston Villa supporters have been much more appreciative of having Matty Cash when we've had to put Conser out to right back
mm,
or play other players out there, and it's not worked as well. But ultimately, I think we will have to upgrade on that position. But Matty, you can never discount Matty Cash for not giving 100%. He is always going to give his all on the football pitch, and that's one thing that you can really praise in that type of player. Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
agreed.
just with regards to, I agree with your point about Rogers as well. I think he's so much potential in him. It's just
Mm,
sometimes decision making, and sometimes he'll play it first time when it needs to be a touch. Sometimes he'll try and play something too quickly in terms of take a shot too quickly, and he'll mess up the technique. But in terms of raw power, raw kind of just taking the ball by the horns, he's fantastic, and he can be really difficult to stop, as can someone like a John Duran. But from a Forest perspective, who do you think Villa need to watch out for? Who can really hurt Aston Villa?
From an attacking perspective, it's Elliot Anderson for me. Our mates over at Loaded Mag will hate me for saying it, but he has been like unbelievable. He's had a little patch where he's had an injury, and now he's back and he looks sharp again. And he's been bringing an element of control to that midfield. I just think he needs more people around him to help him out with that. He still hasn't got his goal, and I think when he gets his goal, we're just going to see him elevate off the back of that. Maybe it comes Saturday, probably not by the way we've been scoring, but he's really impressed me. But the nucleus of our team is that centre back pairing, Murillo and Milenkovic. They just give you that calmness and that feeling of it's going to be okay, because Murillo's flary Brazilian. He likes to take the ball and dribble it 80 yards sometimes, or have a shot
Yeah,
from about 60
yeah.
yards. He's like amazing to watch. But he's got better because Milenkovic almost says to him, "All right, mate, you go do the Brazilian thing you need to do. I've got you covered here." Milenkovic just cleans up. I would say Milenkovic this season has been better than Murillo because you
Mm,
just don't notice him. He's
mm.
never sliding in for a challenge. Aerial ball comes in, he heads it away calmly. He does everything correctly, so he's never like flustered, and you just never see that. Whereas Marilla can put a really cool slide tackle in or a crossfield, 60-yard ball and what have you. But that's been our foundation. Einar as well at right back has been probably one of the best fullbacks, and we got him on a free. Your boy Moreno's been good, but came out of form a bit for me in the last couple of weeks. I think he picked up a knock, but obviously can't play tomorrow. So we'll see
Mm.
Nico Williams. Not tomorrow, sorry, Saturday. We'll see Nico Williams probably deputizing in there. And then of course Wadinho, mate. Wadinho is just like on fire right now. One
He's
of the worst strikers I'd ever seen under Cooper, ever. And as soon as Nuno comes in, he's just flicked a switch somehow, and the man just can't stop scoring. He's a machine. He's
Well,
an absolute
Nuno does
machine.
well with these type of strikers, doesn't
Yeah,
he? Because he
yeah.
he had the same
Him and
with Jimenez and Traore. You know, that partnership at Wolves was incredible. So he seems to have a way of getting target men to just do what they're good at, essentially, and win
crazy,
headers
man.
and stay in the
His
box.
conversion rate's like 38% or something, shots to goal. It's ridiculous. You know, he's only missed me one decent chance against Man City the other week. Other than that, anytime he gets a shot, it just seems to go in the back of the net. He's already in double figures in the Premier League. So yeah, long may his form continue. But as you said, he is a Nuno style player. He works in that Nuno system. And hopefully there's a few more goals in him this season, mate.
Yeah, well, mate, hopefully not on Saturday, but Villa can't keep clean sheets, really. So I do
That's
think
what you lot keep telling me, mate. And it's like, stop telling me that because it will happen if you keep saying it.
That's what I think we're trying to manifest it. But yeah, we'll see. So, mate, we've got to trouble you for this as we finish up. As we say, a massive, massive game, Midlands derby, whatever you want to call it, 5th versus 6th. The Cartel 6 breaking in game, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, what do you think for Saturday? What's your score prediction?
I don't know, mate. I'm fully sitting on the fence on this one. I don't think we've had a 0-0 all season. I think it's going to be 0-0. I know you're saying you don't concede, but that just adds to my theory that you will keep a clean sheet. I think Marilo Milenkovic should be able to hopefully hold the back line there. I actually think secretly both sets of fans would take a point and just move on this one. I think, you know, it's a case of, right, let's get a point. It keeps momentum going for both teams and let's move on. So I wouldn't be disappointed with a point. But like I said at the start, I can see all three scenarios, mate. I can see them. It could be. I don't think it'll be another 5-5. So
no.
Now I've said that, who knows? But do you know what I mean?
No.
That was a crazy game. But yeah, I'm thinking maybe a tight 0-0 where our defense is under the cosh a bit from your attack, but we managed to hold up, get the odd attack here and there, and maybe we can't convert, maybe we can. But I'll go 0-0, mate. Boring.
That's
sorry.
Fair enough. No, that's fair enough. I'm going to go a little bit more score with goals in the game. I'm going to say a 2-1 Villa win. But yeah, I think conceivably all three outcomes, you know, you could get a win, no problem at all. Villa could win. And obviously, yeah, we could cancel each other out and move on to the next. I think from a Villa perspective, Man City next in the Premier League.
Well, that's a guaranteed 3 points.
What's your Christmas fixture list looking like?
We got you, then we got Brentford, then we got Spurs, and then it's either Everton or Wolves or the other way around there. So this has been like, everyone's been talking about this month, saying that, oh, Forest will drop in this month. Well, we got 3 points against United, which I'm still loving. Obviously, we messed up against Man City. We shouldn't have. If we can get out of this with a point at least, then yeah, I'll be really happy, and we can move on to Brentford. Wolves and Everton hopefully gets a little easier at that stage. So yeah, still tough, mate. Still tough.
Absolutely, every game is tough, and like we said, the higher up the league you go, the more pressure, the more is on these games to kind of keep that run going, and it's who can keep it going. But mate, absolutely legend for coming on, mate. Thank you so much.
Bro.
If anyone has been living under a rock and doesn't know Wolfie, where can people find you on your socials and your YouTube channel and all that stuff?
Yeah, Forest Fan TV on YouTube. Go check us out. We're doing a watch along for this game, so if you want to represent the Villa side and they're around, they're more than welcome to come, and we'll have post matches. I've had to start a new Twitter account thanks to Elon Musk, so we're now at YouTube FFTV, and then yeah, we're on all the socials. I just can't remember them all, but yeah, main content on the YouTube channel.
Fantastic. Yeah, get yourself over to Forest Fan TV, everyone. And Forest fans, Villa fans, if you're not already, please do hit that subscribe button. Help us on the road to 5K and get your comments in, your thoughts on the game on Saturday. It's going to be a huge game. And what do you think the score is going to be? We'll be back tonight, i.e. Thursday night, for our full match preview with the lads. So make sure you join us for that, and then instant match reaction and all that jazz coming up, and fans forum next week and everything like that. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Wolfie, once again, thank you very much for jumping on, mate. Much appreciated. Thank you all for watching. And as always, remember, we all follow the Villa.